Hi, I'm Raychel Farmer, the Executive Assistant with the Human Rights Commission here in Hopkinsville. Today I'm coming to you with the segment of Cooking with the Past presented by the Museums of Historic Hopkinsville. Thank you to Ms. Alyssa Keller for asking me to be a part of this program. I'm excited to be here today, and I'll be presenting and sharing with you a recipe and dish that is near and dear to my heart, my grandmother's cornbread dressing, or just dressing as we like to call it. If you know anything about dressing, you know it's not just something you mix in a bowl, toss in the oven, and go about your business. It takes a lot of love and patience and time and effort to go into this dish. So I hope you get a chance to try it out. Let me know what you think, and we'll get started. So I've got my chicken ready to go into the oven. It's been cleaned. I've got it in a roaster pan. I've put some water in the pan as well. About halfway up the chicken, I'm gonna lightly season with just a little salt and pepper. Add some pepper. And then I'm also going to add to my pan a stick of butter. You don't need much salt because you've got salted butter. And then inside my chicken, I'm going to stick a couple of sticks of celery, and that'll just give it a little bit of extra flavor as well. Okay, so I'm going to cover my chicken. I'll pop it in the oven at 400 degrees. And then we'll let you know how long it takes to cook. So the next step is to prepare your cornbread. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I have a cast iron skillet here that's been coated in butter. I'm going to put this skillet in the oven so that it can get nice and warm while I mix my cornbread, and then we'll add the cornbread mix to the pan and bake it. So I'm ready to mix my cornbread. I'm going to add my ingredients. I've already got them pre-measured out. I've got 2 cups of self-rising cornmeal. Don't forget, we're the batter capital of the world, so make sure you're using your local products. I've got a cup of self-rising flour. I have some eggs. I'm going to add 2 eggs for now. I may come back and add 1 more. I have 4 tablespoons of oil. And I have a cup and a half of buttermilk. There's something about the buttermilk that gives your cornbread a nice rich flavor. So we use buttermilk instead of just regular milk. I'm gonna mix this up, and then I'll be ready to put it into the oven. All right, so I finished mixing my batter. My skillet is nice and hot and coated in that butter that we preheated in the oven. I'm just gonna add my batter to the pan. We'll pop it in the oven and let it bake until it's finished. Now, I want it all out, so I'm making sure I get as much as I can out of this bowl. All right, and then we'll just even this out, and it's ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna let it bake. It'll probably take about 25 to 30 minutes to bake, and then we'll be ready to take it out. So I'm back. I have my mom with me. I have crumbled up the cornbread, and it's into crumbs now. You can just use your hands to break that up. We have our broth that we poured off of our chicken. We have some boiled eggs that I've chopped up. I've got some breadcrumbs that are seasoned, and I'll show you what we use for that. And then we also have cream of celery, cream of chicken, a little sage, and poultry seasoning. We're gonna use this to mix our dressing and bring it all together. So the first thing we're gonna do,
add the breadcrumbs.
I'm gonna add the breadcrumbs. I have about a cup of breadcrumbs here.
Just kind of mix that in with a regular crumbled up cornbread that we fixed. And then we're gonna go ahead and saturate our cornbread. We want it nice and saturated. It also has the celery and onion already in there. So,
and what we use for the breadcrumbs, we like to buy the Pepperidge Farm cornbread classic stuffing. It has good seasoning already in it, so we like to use that for our dressing. But you can use breadcrumbs, toast, whatever you want.
And you just want to keep adding it till your cornbread is nice and moist. I'll add about 3 or 4 spoonfuls, and then we'll stir and see where we are, and we'll add more until we get it nice and moist. Where it kind of sticks together like. I'm gonna add a couple more spoonfuls. Rachel, stir that. I'll go ahead and one more. It's almost like you want it nice and wet. A little bit more. Like I said, we sauteed the onions and the celery in there as well. Okay, maybe just a little bit more, and then we'll show you kind of like what it looks like. It's almost like you mixing it up.
I kind of want it to stick together a little bit.
Yeah, maybe just a little more. Set that over to the side. Let me check. And we're gonna go ahead and add our soups, the cream of chicken and cream of celery, to this mixture. We're gonna go ahead and add it.
We got 1 can of each. Chicken and cream of celery.
You want to make sure you get it out. And add a little bit of poultry seasoning and sage. Give it a little bit of flavor. I like a little bit more of the poultry seasoning. I think that I do sage.
I think I do too. I like extra. But again, to your liking, and once you get it seasoned the way you like it. We like to taste it before we put it in the oven.
Yeah, just a little bit of it. We can always add more. Like I said, you season it the way you like it. And you want to add the eggs?
I boiled 4 eggs, so we'll just do a little bit for now to see where it gets us. You have a visitor.
Are we gonna eat it?
We'll eat it when it's done cooking.
Dressing, cornbread dressing. And Rachel has a story she likes to tell about my mom when we was fixing dressing one time.
Oh yeah, you guys came to Lexington for Thanksgiving. And everybody tasted the dressing that my granny always made. I don't think anybody really said anything until she finally asked us how it was, and I think we all were a little shocked. And she said, "Oh well, I added some extra seasonings." We were like, "No."
She used some type of herbal seasoning that we weren't used to. We want this traditional cornbread dressing. Make it the same way every time.
What do you think?
That's pretty good.
I think more poultry seasoning.
Yeah, a little bit more seasoning. And maybe a little bit more sage too. Sometimes you gotta get a little happy with it. But you don't squeeze. She just shakes.
I didn't know I had to squeeze.
Alright. And you can add a little bit more chopped onion too. Like if you really like onion, add a little bit more onion. And from here on, it's pretty much just seasoning to your taste. I think we might need a little bit more. Try it again.
It's in there, but I think we could use a little bit more.
Just have to keep on.
Like I said, I like extra, so she might think it's enough, but I like extra.
That's it pretty much.
I think we're good. So we're gonna get our pan. We'll coat our pan in butter, and then we'll put it in the oven to bake. And that's it. We are done cooking our dressing. We've got it out of the oven. It's a nice golden brown on top with a little bit of a crunch. We baked it for about 30-35 minutes or so, and it's ready to taste. So we're gonna dig in and see what it's like. Ready?
Yes, let's do it.
It is hot. Perfect. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know how your dressing turns out. Bye.